Constituency on nice to meet you. Do you get very angry scenes in the Knesset? Is there a tradition of roughing people up?
Well, the world can interpret satisfy in different ways. If you say, did I agree with everything that Mr. Begin said, and did he agree with everything I said? The answer, I'm sure, from him and from me would be no. Did we have a satisfying discussion in the way, was it detailed, open-minded, and a very clear exchange of views, and one which I thought very worthwhile? The answer is yes. Then when the negotiations ran, it appeared into a hiccup. There was the whole problem of the continuation of the political committee and the various problems that arose. There was an anxiety that maybe the proposals that were put down were being in some ways toughened up, and that there was a degree of rigidity coming into the position which would militate against getting the initiative off the ground and its momentum retained. And I found my discussion with Prime Minister Begin very reassuring on those grounds. I did not find that it was a different position, and it seemed to me that he was still prepared on issues of detail to consider them on their merits and to be flexible, and that he still did see this as a proposals for a 5-year period to be reviewed after that. Now, I found that reassuring and very important. And my Prime Minister has been very closely involved with both Prime Minister Begin and President Sadat and President Carter. And I think that has been a helpful influence. History has given us a great deal of expertise in the area. We've got a dubious past, but it has meant that many of the people who advise me have great experience in these. I don't expect many people who have campaigned for years for a separate Palestinian state to give that up now. And I don't expect those Israelis, and I think there are many of them, who think that a Palestinian state would be, a separate Palestinian state, would be a destabilizing influence, and who point to the fact that it needs to be demilitarized and other features of it. They're not going to give up their position. I've given some indication of the sort of area in which I think that Jordan would come in, and one of the things, I gave 2 things which I thought needed to happen, neither of which have yet happened. So it's clearly unwise to, it is not the British position that we should now be putting at this moment in time pressure on Jordan to come in. We think that they need to see, as I said, progress in 2 areas. Yes, we've always firstly been prepared to play our full part in any United Nations peacekeeping operation, although there's been a tendency not to take the permanent members of the Security Council, major powers, and at the time of the European Council decision in June last year, there is a statement there which says that if guarantees were thought to be necessary, the European powers, and one of us, we would be prepared to do so. The British position over the PLO has always been fairly clear, and it's my position that while they refuse to recognize Israel's right to exist, I find it very difficult to enter personally into negotiations or discussions with them.